I grew up when I was born. I had cleft lip, so right here, I had two surgeries to correct that. That ended up marking me more than just physically marking me. I remember as a kid being called Monster Man and just all kind of things, that kids say to each other. Well, I took it to heart, and grew up, in a family that loved me, but didn't have a lot of emotional words in the family, and so just didn't grow up with a lot of that kind of emotional intelligence and understanding, and so one of the kind of through that and a number of other things, my life question early on was, am I okay? Am I lovable? Do I have a place in the world? And so even with all the privilege that I didn't even realize I had, those were core questions for me, and lasted through my young adult. Some level, probably always with me. God's given a lot of healing there and clarity and calling and purpose. But that marked me in a lot of ways, marked me. I think God was saying, and I'll use that for something of good. And so what I do every day is an attempt.
Everybody, I'm back with another episode of So It's Success Stories. And today I'm talking to my friend, David Jordan. And David is the CEO of Agape. And I've had a number of opportunities to work with David, to run into David, and to just see his work and to learn his heart, which is so beautiful and so powerful. And I can't wait to share his story. So David, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Well, thank you again for having me on the show and doing this interview. You're very gracious. Just a little about myself. Currently, I'm the president and CEO for Agape Child and Family Services. Actually, this is my 30th year at Agape. Thankful to be here. We're a Christian-based organization that holistically comes alongside families. We fight poverty through God for families to flourish. And we're deep in Fraser, Whitehaven, Hickory Hill, Raleigh, and other communities. I can talk more about that. More importantly, married to Teresa, and we are at year 38 in our marriage, and we have 3 grown children, and they're all married, and we have 3 grandchildren, and we've got another one on the way, and that's newer news, and so we're excited about that.
That is exciting.
Yeah. So love Memphis, love being here, just being part of the story God's writing.
And that's amazing, David. I see your work in the community, and it's so needed. And just honored, really, truly honored to know you, and to be celebrating you at the So What Awards. So we'll talk about that a little bit later too. So let's get into it. In this program, I have what I call the So What Success System. It's my belief that anyone can be successful if they can learn how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices. They can have what I call So What Success, and that's success no matter what happens in life. And David, based on what I know about you, you are a So What Success man, and you also help to create other So What Success stories. But let's first start, let's talk about some of the obstacles you had to overcome to get to where you are today.
Yeah, and I think it has to be prefaced. I mean, I'm a white man, and so I began with 2 legs up, and so I understand, and I understand it at some level. And with that, I grew up when I was born. I had cleft lip, so right here, I had 2 surgeries to correct that. That ended up marking me more than just physically marking me. I remember as a kid being called Monster Man and just all kind of things, that kids say to each other. Well, I took it to heart, and grew up, in a family that loved me, but didn't have a lot of emotional words in the family, and so just didn't grow up with a lot of that kind of emotional intelligence and understanding, and so one of the kind of through that and a number of other things, my life question early on was, am I okay? Am I lovable? Do I have a place in the world? And so even with all the privilege that I didn't even realize I had, those were core questions for me, and lasted through my young adult. Some level, probably always with me. God's given a lot of healing there and clarity and calling and purpose. but that marked me in a lot of ways, marked me. I think God was saying, and I'll use that for something of good. And so what I do every day is an attempt to be love to others. I mean, I work for an organization called Love, Agape. My name, David, means the beloved one. The things I had nothing to do with, really, just as a reminder from God of His deep love, and He is the first lover of all. And then because of Him, and my wife has been phenomenal in my own personal journey and who I am as a man. My father-in-law, her dad, was just huge in being a dad to me. And so, I mean, just there's stories and stories after along the lines of people who came alongside and gave me sense of purpose and who I am and who I'm called to be and who I'm to be, that I questioned early on, thinking I had no place. So,
I think that's powerful, being bullied and how kids, even in my first book, I wrote in the
mm,
first chapter about bullying because I got called Beaver and Rabbit because I had these big teeth,
mm, mm, mm,
and my hair was really short, so I got called Boy. And
mm,
thinking about you and being called Monster and how horrible that
mm,
might make you feel, and then coming from in a family where people aren't building you up and loving you because
mm,
maybe they don't know how. But it's interesting though that, and I even think about in my own situation, that made you
mm,
better at what you're doing. That
mm,
made you understand the
mm,
need that so many people need, not just kids, but kids and families, they need that and they may not be getting that. And you wouldn't even understand that had you not
mm,
experienced that,
That's right.
understand it on a deep
That's right.
level. I think that's
That's right.
powerful.
That's right.
So
That's right.
the second part of So a Success System is eliminating excuses. And
Mm,
so you had that heard and you
mm,
came from a situation that you were in. You could have made a lot of excuses and not gotten to where you are today. Talk about some of the excuses that you had to eliminate to keep moving
mm,
forward.
mm. Yeah, it really was more self-defeating questions. Am I good enough? Am I able? Confidence. All kind of things early in life, and so I remember having a teacher. Actually, I was working on my master's in social work, and a teacher saying to me, "David, you got a lot to say. You just need to say it." And I just I was holding it back, and so some people who could see things in me that I surely couldn't see. Um, Having a pastor who spoke over me and actually did our wedding back again 38 years ago, just his words over me. Again, my wife has been huge in Teresa has been huge in this journey of of confidence and love, also challenging me and saying the hard things to me because I can also be a not knucklehead and knothead. So I grew up with that too. So um, and then just having a community of friends and believers who just mean good to me and knowing that. And so God brought me through that. Yeah, you need to by your stripes you're healed. And so didn't give reason for those, but man, use them for something of good. And so because I remember when I was one of my first jobs. This was nearly 40 years ago. I was working with Department of Human Services and doing child abuse and neglect investigations, and I was just green as green could be. And had a little fella that I came to know. His name's Corey Orr, 4 years of age, and I was doing what's called Child Protective Services, and so going out investigating child abuse and neglect that had been reported. And it was back in the beeper days, and so I was on an emergency call and got a call. I was in Nashville at that time, and almost was about to hand that beeper off, and it went off, and I had it in my hand. I mean, like literally. But God wanted me to meet Corey Orr. I went to Vanderbilt Hospital and saw a little boy, 4 years of age, who had literally been beaten to death, and I'd never seen anything like it in my life. And probably fortunate for Corey, and actually, as we're doing this taping, we're right on the anniversary of his death. So I say his name to give honor and memory to him. He would clearly be he'd be nearly 40 now. Um, uh, to Probably fortunate for him, he died the next day. As bad as that sounds, but it was terrible. And I almost left the field and thought, man, I can't do this. This is not for me. And I had a mentor come alongside me and said, this is really bad. But you know what? Corey's death is not about you. It's about that little boy. And he needs somebody to stand in the gap and do the work. And if you leave, then you've missed it. And so I had someone lovingly, but yank my chain, say, all right, Jordan, get in the game. Now's the time. And that was early in my career. And little Corey Orr, I remember his name. I remember a lot about that. That has marked me as well. And so I do this for the Corey Orrs, not to be their savior, but to say, okay, there's more to be done. There are system issues. There are a lot of matters going on. I didn't understand them, but I knew, all right, my time is now. Let's go.
Yeah, really powerful work. And if you're not around it, most people don't even realize how important it is, how prevalent it is, and how hard it is,
Mm,
So I salute you, and I'm so glad. And I think back now that you've done the work that you're doing for so long, how
mm,
many lives you've saved and how many lives that you've changed, you and your team have changed.
mm,
And I know you don't even know. But
mm.
it's definitely happened. So I'm glad somebody pulled your chain and said, get in the game. Now it's
That's right.
time. You
That's right.
gotta really step it
Really
up and
do.
play even harder, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
the last part of the SOA success system is calculating choices. So that was one of those calculated choices. When somebody said get back in the game, you made the choice to
Yep.
continue in the field. Talk about any other calculated choices that you've made on your journey.
Uh, um, calculated, but having also not really sure what those calculations mean. Um, when I went to Lipscomb, that's where I went to college. I majored in Bible and came out. I had no sense I was called to be a pastor. Didn't sense that at all. Folks said, "Why in the world would you get a Bible major?" And because I started driving a truck after I got out, because I had no idea what I was going to do. I mean, I was a lost pup. Um, and then began my master's in social work shortly thereafter, and and God said, I've got a purpose for all of this. And so just take the next step. Though you can't see down the path, just be intentional and take the next step to your question. And God has weaved that together. I mean, I'm at Agape now 30 years. We're a Christian-based social services, human services organization. And so that work from a theological standpoint, for me, it's important. How do we lean into what we do by virtue of who God is and how He views us and what He would have us to do and knowing His will, and can we use best practices as we come alongside families in terms of what I've done in social work. And so anyway, so there was a calculated piece of that I had no idea what the one step meant for the journey to come. And so I tell folks, just take the next right one step. You may not see all the way down. Some of us at different times we get a longer view, but there are times that maybe it's such a fog you just need to know what is the next right step and be intentional with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So David, you have demonstrated you know how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices. You are so a success man.
Mm,
Going from being bullied and now helping others who I'm sure are bullied even in their own homes, right? Sometimes,
mm,
and really making a difference. But you have definitely demonstrated you are so a success man. But
mm.
what is your personal definition of success?
Uh, Great question. Be faithful and obedient long term. Be clear of what God has called you to do, and then stay at it faithfully for the long run. We live in a time we want it quick, we want it fast, we want to turn it, whether it's jumping from job to job or, and everybody has their own course. What I have found is staying at what God has given you, even and especially when it's not going right, it's not going good. I mean, I can look a certain way right now, but it's not always been easy. It's not always been good. It's been hard, and even when you wonder in yourself, is my time over? When God makes it clear, stay the course, then stay the course. We live in a time there's just not enough people staying at it long term, long enough. And the more we just keep hopping around, we just keep starting over again and again and again. I think we hurt our people, we hurt the families, we hurt those, and so that is how I define success.
So I felt that deeply.
Mm, mm,
And finding what it is that you're called to do, what your purpose is. And I'm trying not to get emotional as I say this, but
you good?
because this work is hard. So I know your work is hard. The work I do, oftentimes it's hard.
Yeah.
And I have to say this because you just recently spoke at your friend's
Mm,
service, Ricky Floyd, and I
yes,
had the
yes.
opportunity to interview him too. But
Wow.
he's my friend from all the way back, and I don't know if you even knew this. We started working together for the Memphis Grizzlies, and he became my
Really?
friend then before he was a pastor, before he and Sheila
Mm,
started the church. And he's been a friend and a father figure to me for all these years. But
wow.
there was a time when, just a couple weeks ago, or a couple weeks before he passed, that
Mm,
he called me, and I was sitting right here in this chair, and he
mm,
called me and he poured into me at a time that was hard, at a time that I wanted to give up. I wasn't going to give up, but I was feeling
yeah,
really defeated.
yeah, yeah.
And he called and he poured into me. So I love and receive your
Mm,
definition of success
mm,
and
mm,
staying with it, especially when it's hard.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Wow, bless you. What an honor to such a great man. So thank you for sharing that as well.
And thank you for your words about him and to him at his service. Um,
Hmm.
that's my friend. Okay, one
Hmm.
last
Hmm.
question.
Right.
Um, what's one, because you've given so, and I love this interview and how much peace it's even bringing me.
Mm.
One last piece of advice, one piece of advice you would give someone who's watching this interview and they want to be successful, however they define success, but they face obstacles just like we all do. What's just one piece of
Mm.
advice you would give?
Tell you what just jumped in my head and my heart when you asked that question, because we didn't preview these questions, so which I appreciate. Um, to do this kind of work, we all need money. I mean, and it's a struggle. It's a fight. Um, but within, and we all have to. I mean, so that's just part of it. But don't let the money define you. Don't chase money because you got to have money, and it changes your mission, your vision, your values, who you are, just to keep things going. And listen, I know what it's like when it's really, really hard. I mean, I really do. Uh, do not become a slave to money. It's important, it's critical, it is what it is, uh, but do not let it become your God. In the nonprofit world, and as hard as it is, and we're in hard times right now, uh, that can be a hard thing. So, and don't let it turn you on other people or how you view it. I mean, they got it. Why do they have it? I don't have it. I mean, and all the things that happen. And I mean, the nonprofit world is beautiful, and then there's an underbelly to it as well. And I've seen too many directors break relationships and programs not work together, and all. I mean, all the stuff. I've seen a whole bunch of it. Um, don't let it take you there, because Satan will break you, divide you, tear you up, and he wins at that point.
Mhm. I think that's a good piece of advice and something we all need to remember, whether in the nonprofit world or just chasing our dreams and pursuing
Mm,
our passions.
mm,
I
yep.
think that's amazing. Well,
Mm,
David, I thank you so much for this interview. I look forward to celebrating you at the third annual Soulwood Awards and Scholarship Soiree. You are an
mm.
amazing recipient. You're an amazing man with an amazing heart, and I'm truly grateful to know you. So thank you.
Well, you're very gracious, and I look forward to it. So thank you. That's quite an honor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.